Good morning, Miss New. Good morning, everyone. We are five and our has three members. And today we will discuss about chapter 4, energy. And now we'll move on to the table content. And firstly is part 1, discuss the unique question. Part 2, vocabulary. Part 3, review listening 1. Part 4, main ideas. Part 5, details. And firstly, we will discuss about the unique question. And my full name is Đặng Mai Ngọc Trân. About the energy confirmed by the word, in my opinion, I always believe that the nuclear energy is being used throughout the world because they have a lot of advantages. Firstly, about the low population, nuclear power also has a lot fewer greenhouse emissions. There is no unfavorable impact on the water and land. And secondly, is low operating cost. Nuclear power produces very inexpensive electricity because of uranium, which is utilized as a fuel in this process is low. And how about you, Ngân?
I think about the cost of nuclear energy. The first, environmental impact. One of the biggest issue is environmental impact in relation to uranium. The process of mining and refining uranium hasn't been a clean process. The second, nuclear accidents, the radioactive you can cause serious health effects on the life of people and feel the environment. I think so. How about Jin?
My idea is positive of renewable energy. Renewable energy is a clean, environmentally friendly and low polluting energy source. It is a great source of energy without shortage and save money. Besides, reduce greenhouse gas emissions and creating jobs for workers.
Hello, teacher. I'm No. I will listen vocabulary. Number one, choosing which type of energy to finance is so controversial. That investor ends up not knowing where to invest their money.
Controversial. Controversial.
Controversial. Its attitude it means causing or likely to cause a disagreement. Vietnamese gây tranh cãi. Ai chu biển debatable. Number two, our reliant energy in rain during the period when people drove cars and began to use electricity to do many things that used to be done by hand.
Reliance.
Reliant is now. It means the state of depending on or trusting in something or someone. Vietnamese sự tin cậy, sự tín nhiệm. A dependent on. Number 3. Fossil fuel like gas, coal, and oil are often criticized for putting carbon dioxide into the air and contributing to the greenhouse effect.
Fossil fuels.
Fossil fuel is now. It means such as gas, coal, and oil that were from underground farmland and animal remains millions of years ago. Vietnamese nhiên liệu hóa thạch A2B zero from over millions of years from animal and plant remains. Number 4. Once concerned with using gas, coal, and oil as fuel in the emission they go use, which can cause illnesses in people and animals that breathe them.
Emissions.
Emission is now. It means the act of sending or gas hit ra. Vietnamese sự phát ra, sự bốc ra. I2C gases sent out into the air. Number 5. More greenhouse gases pollute the air and go used as human consumption. Energy increase
Consumption.
Is now. It means the act of using, eating or drinking something. Vietnamese sự tiêu thụ, sự tiêu dùng. I2A use. Number 6. To sell water and energy, it's better to fill the washing machine to capacity instead of washing just or filtering.
Capacity.
Is now the total amount that can be contained or produced. Vietnamese khả năng chứa đựng, sức chứa. A2A entirely full. Number 7. The rains were only intermittent yesterday, so we could still go out for a walk.
Intermittent.
It's adjective. It means not happen regularly or continually stopping and starting repeat or with period. Vietnamese liên tiếp ngừng rồi bắt đầu, không liên tục. I2A.
Number 8. The researcher idea were misguided because they were foolishly based on research and not on scientific evidence.
Misguided.
misguided. Its attitude is mean unreasonable or unsuitable because of being based on bad judgment or on wrong information or beliefs. Vietnamese sai lầm trong ý kiến suy nghĩ lầm lạc. I do see incorrect. Number 9, the rich and invest more money in green energy research than other countries. So tidal powers is a large-scale industry in the UK.
Large scale.
Large scale. Its attitude is mean involving many people or things or happening over the large area. Vietnamese quy mô lớn. I do see widely used. Number 10, if company could improve the efficiency or production, less energy would be used in industry.
Efficiency.
Efficiency. It means the good use of time and energy. Vietnamese hiệu lực hiệu quả. I told I no right of time or money. Number 11. If people could conserve energy by not wasting power or by buying better beside gold, we wouldn't need to use so much oil.
Conserve.
Conserve. Verb. It means to keep from changing, being damaged or lost. Vietnamese giữ gìn, bảo tồn. I told you less observe. Number 12. Since each speaker has a different viewpoint, each were a very thought-provoking discussion, and I learned a lot of new things.
Thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking is attitude is mean making you think a lot about a subject. Vietnamese kích thích tư duy. I to be fascinating.
And again, my name is Jung, and I will talk about review lesson 1. Nuclear energy is its solution. You are going to listen to part of a city council meeting in which two members explain about the science behind opposing views on nuclear energy. What have you heard or read about nuclear energy? Check the phrases that you think the best describe this type of field, and then listen to see if the speakers agree with your views. Nuclear energy. 1 is safe. 2 isn't well regulated. 3 is reliable. 4 causes less pollution than oil. 5 is a green energy source. 6 is being used around the world. 7 produce radioactive waste. And the last one is expensive. And in my opinion, the best describe of this type of fuel is being used around the world. To continue our presentation, we will move to listen for main ideas. Listen to the debate. Circle the correct answers. And number 1, what do people of the town have to decide? A. Whether to build a nuclear power plant in the city. B. Whether to vote for a mayor who is for or against the nuclear power plant. And here are some keywords. What do people of the town decide? And it's time for listen to the audio.
As you know, the candidates in the upcoming election for mayor are on opposite sides in the controversial issue of building a nuclear power plant in our region. The citizens have been asking for more information on the reliability and safety of nuclear energy and on the possibility that a power plant could provide much-needed jobs in our area so they can decide who to vote for.
And my answer is P. Whether to vote for a mayor who is for or against the nuclear power plant, because you can see about the text script. The candidates in upcoming election for a mayor are on opposite sides in the controversial issue of the building a nuclear power plant in our region. So they can decide who to vote for. And next, the question number 2. What point do both sides agree on? A. The need to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. B. The need to increase the production of fossil fuels. And here are some keywords. What point both sides agree? And it's time for listen to the audio.
Sure. I think we can all agree that we need to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. As you know, the use of fossil fuels such as coal and oil is problematic. Because we can't provide enough ourselves, we're forced to import from other countries. We need to be more independent in providing for our energy needs. Also, emissions from fossil fuels pollute the environment and contribute to global warming and climate change. So it is extremely important to move away from fossil fuels towards other sources of energy. In the opinion of many experts I've read, nuclear energy is cleaner, safer, and more reliable.
And my answer is A. You can see text script. I think we can all agree that we need to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. And move to question number 3. What scientific view does Jen resent against nuclear energy? A. Nuclear energy is less expensive, but it can't produce enough power. B. Nuclear plants can produce a lot of energy, but they are not safe or clean enough. And here are some keywords. What scientific view against nuclear energy? And it's time for listen to the audio.
You mentioned that nuclear energy is cleaner. That's true if we're only talking about the consumption of energy, but we have to look at how the energy is produced and how waste is dealt with. To quote Dr. Arjun Makhijani, president of the Institute for Energy and Environmental Research and author of Carbon-Free and Nuclear-Free, I don't see how you can call nuclear power the safest of energy sources when there are so many risks. Data shows that the typical nuclear power plant could produce 20 metric tons per year of used nuclear fuel, which is highly reactive. And as we saw with Chernobyl in 1986, nuclear accidents can happen.
And my answer is B. Nuclear plants can produce a lot of energy, but they are not safe or clean enough. Emily say, you mentioned that nuclear energy is cleaner. That's true if we are only talk about the consumption of energy, but we have to look at how the energy is produced and how waste is dealt with. Number 4, why the Dr. Scott believe that renewable energy alone cannot replace fossil fuels. A. Renewable energy technologies are not completely reliable. B. Renewable energy technology are too expensive on how to improve efficiency and cut down on consumption. And here are some keywords. Why? Renewable energy alone cannot replace fossil fuels. And it's time for listen to the audio.
According to Dr. David Scott, a professor at the University of Victoria, quote, "We've got to be very careful about what renewables can provide. All renewable resources are characteristically intermittent." What he means is that solar energy can only be harnessed when the sun is shining, for example. His research confirms that nuclear power is just more reliable than these other options.
And my answer is A. His research confirms that nuclear power is just more reliable than these other options. Number 5, what makes renewable energy sources less reliable than nuclear or fossil fuels? A. They are not available of all the time, so they do not provide enough power. B. They are too expensive to produce, so people do not want to finance them. And here are some keywords. What makes renewable energy less reliable than nuclear or fossil fuels? And it's time for listen to the audio.
That's true. I didn't find evidence to confirm that these sources can provide enough energy today. And I'm not suggesting we abandon the idea of
And
a
my
power
answer
plant.
is A. That's true. I didn't find evidence to confirm that these sources can provide enough energy today, and I'm not suggesting we abandon the idea of a power plant. Number 6. What idea does Chen seem to end the discussion with? A. Candidates for mayor should take a firm stand against nuclear energy. B. Candidates for mayor should focus on how to improve efficiency and cut down on consumption. And here's some keyword. What idea, Chen, and the discussion. And it's time for listen to the audio.
Maybe the candidates need to approach this from a different angle, raising awareness through community education. They should focus on the need to improve efficiency as one way of reducing energy use, and we need to conserve where possible. If we could reduce the amount of energy we use, perhaps hydroelectric, solar, and wind sources could meet most of our needs, and we wouldn't have to worry about a nuclear power plant.
And my answer is P.
Today I will present a detailed listening 1 unit for energy. This is for nuclear energy and against nuclear energy. Firstly,
I've read, nuclear energy is cleaner, safer, and more reliable. Harmful CO2 emissions are minimal, and the costs remain steady.
the answer is the the answer is cleaner, safer, and more reliable, and the cost remains steady.
Data shows that the typical nuclear power plant could produce 20 metric tons per year of used nuclear fuel, which is highly reactive. And as we saw with Chernobyl in 1986, nuclear accidents can happen.
The answer is highly reactive. And secondly,
My research confirmed that this is a very well-regulated industry.
this is well-regulated industry.
Environmentalists believe that we should also continue to invest in wind and solar energy. These sources are much safer and cleaner than nuclear energy.
This is environmentalists believe that renewable sources are much safer and cleaner than nuclear energy. And thirdly,
all renewable resources are characteristically intermittent. What he means is that solar energy can only be harnessed when the sun is shining, for example. His research confirms that nuclear power is just more reliable than these other options.
CDEs on renewable resources are characteristically intermittent.
However, I did find that the cost of building solar power or wind power plants is much lower than the cost of building another nuclear power plant.
And finally, the cost of building renewable power. Question 1. According to Ryan, what are 3 reasons we should reduce our consumption of fossil fuel?
Because we can't provide enough ourselves, we're forced to import from other countries. We need to be more independent in providing for our energy needs. Also, emissions from fossil fuels pollute the environment and contribute to global warming and climate change. So it is extremely important to move away from fossil fuels towards other sources of energy. In the opinion of many experts I've read, nuclear energy is cleaner, safer, and more reliable.
And the answer is we have to import from other countries. Fossil fuels pollute the environment and contribute to climate change. Nuclear energy is cleaner, safer, and more reliable. Question 2. What 2 arguments have changed from explaining why nuclear energy is not a safe alternative?
I don't see how you can call nuclear power the safest of energy sources when there are so many risks. Data shows that the typical nuclear power plant could produce 20 metric tons per year of used nuclear fuel, which is highly reactive. And as we saw with Chernobyl in 1986, nuclear accidents can happen. And I'm not suggesting we abandon the idea of a power plant. However, I did find that the cost of building solar power or wind power plants is much lower than the cost of building another nuclear power plant.
And the answer is we is highly radioactive. We can have accidents. nuclear plants are essential to build. Next, question 3. What is the title of the book by Dr. Makichani that was cited in the presentation against nuclear energy?
With. To quote Dr. Arjun Makhijani, president of the Institute for Energy and Environmental Research and author of Carbon-Free and Nuclear-Free,
The answer is carbon-free and nuclear-free. Question 4. What argument does Dr. Moore give in defense of the safety of nuclear energy?
In a podcast debate I listened to, Dr. Patrick Moore, chair of the Canadian firm Green Spirit Strategies, disagreed with Dr. Makhijani. He pointed out that the fact of the matter is that not one single person in North America has been injured at a nuclear power plant or died because of a radiation-related accident.
And the answer is not a single person in North America has been injured or killed. Question 5. According to recent sources, how much of the emission-free electricity in the U.S. is currently produced from nuclear energy?
Now, nuclear power plants supply 70% of the emission-free electricity in the United States.
Answer is 70%. Question 6. What are 3 renewable sources of energy that Chen mentions as once supported by environmentalists?
While I also found that at the moment nuclear energy is providing more power than other non-fossil fuel sources, most experts argue that we need to develop our renewable options, energy that can be replaced naturally. Hydroelectric energy, or the energy provided by moving water, provides 25% of non-fossil fuel energy at the moment. Environmentalists believe that we should also continue to invest in wind and solar energy.
Answer is wind, solar, hydroelectric. Question 7. What percentage of all energy the meter goes in both propelled that windmills and biofuel could provide by the year 2050? Answer is
In a recent article on energy in The Guardian, Jose Goldenberg, professor of physical science at the University of Sao Paulo, Brazil, predicted that energy from windmills and biofuels could provide up to 50% of all energy by 2050.
The answer is 50%. Question 8. According to Dr. Cost, what is the problem with renewable energy sources?
More importantly, according to Dr. David Scott, a professor at the University of Victoria, quote, "We've got to be very careful about what renewables can provide. All renewable resources are characteristically intermittent." What he means is that solar energy can only be harnessed when the sun is shining, for example. His research confirms that nuclear power is just more reliable than these other options.
The answer is from renewable sources isn't constant. Thank you for listening and watching.